Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Chronicles of Hollywood History, past, present, and future. Welcome. And here now, Corey Gomez.
Hello everyone and welcome to Chronicles of Hollywood History, past, present, and future. Today I am joined by, you may know her from stunt work, you may know her as one of the original Glow Girls, Lightning. I am talking about the lovely Cheryl Russa. Thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you for having me.
And I hope after pronouncing your last name 30 times I got it right.
Yes, you pronounced it perfectly.
Awesome.
It's Russa.
Russa.
People say it, most of the time they think Rousseau because I was also part of the LPWA as Little Mo, and they tagged me Little Mo Russo. So people forever thought my last name was Rousseau because of that.
In the world of wrestling, I don't know if that's a last name you want to have. Now you were a Glow Girl, and then you're a stunt woman.
Yes, I've been stunting. I got my A card in 91.
Now let me ask you before I talk about the stunts. When you were season 3 and 4 of Glow. This is the one question I like to ask because some of the girls really just kind of went to open casting calls in the beginning. You knew you were trying out for a professional wrestling show when you went, correct?
Oh yes, because to me, I didn't think of it as professional wrestling, but it was, I guess, supposedly. I thought of it as a TV show because of all the sketches and stuff. I wanted to do acting.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I was trying to do a stepping stone to do more acting, and I knew I was really athletic. And there was a tag at the end of the show. The first season just started, the pilot, and I was in a couple of episodes, and they were looking for more Glow Girls, and I thought, I'll send my stuff into this, when a boyfriend of mine was laughing when I said the show was stupid. He was laughing at me over it. So I got mad at him and just faked a resume and mailed it to them. At this point, I had just started taking acting classes, and I was a drummer in an all-girl rock band. And I knew I wanted to do something in the entertainment industry. I was still trying to find myself.
Now, who was your trainer when you got there?
It was Nanuchka and Debbie Debutante. And they went through the basics, and then they split us off after that to who was going to fly and who was going to be bases. So we had 2 rings, so they split us into 2 groups to try to teach the 2 different things that needed to be taught to be to work the matches. Even though I was strong and I could pick girls up, I obviously was trained as a flyer. I mean, I always say when people find out I'm a wrestler, they're like, "You're a wrestler?" You're like, nothing. And I go, well, let me put it to you this way. Do you want me flying off the 3rd rope and landing on you? Do you want you flying off the 3rd rope landing on you? They're like, I guess you making a point there. How much weight do you want flying off that 3rd rope to land on you? But when I started out and I went to Vegas, there was stuff that came before that, pre-audition type stuff, but when we went to Vegas, there must have been, 70 plus girls there, and we get in the ring, we get in and around the ring, we're like standing around the outside of the ring in a row. It was like a couple of rows thick of people, and we just got in one at a time. Okay, can you do Debbie Debutante would do a forward roll, do that, right? Couple of rolls, just roll from corner to corner. Of course, I get like 4 in because I'm so little. Like roll, across from corner to corner, and of course the big girls would get 1 roll in, and then they'd have to step back to do 2, But that was a morning session, and by the afternoon session, there's like 8, 10, whatever, they're missing girls that didn't even make it past. I'm pretty sure they just walked. I don't think they even were cut because some of them couldn't even do a forward roll.
That's a pretty
and then
basic move.
Yeah, well, then it just got worse as we went because things got harder, rougher, faster, and girls were getting injured, small injuries at first, and they just walked. They get a little bit of whiplash and they were out the door. They bend a finger back and they were like, "I'm out of here, man. I can't." But they tried to keep certain girls that looked a certain way, like they liked their look. They really tried to work with them. I remember this one girl looked like a really pretty Morticia Adams kind of a look. And the girl could not even do a forward roll. Between her and Debbie tried to pick her up and roll her in the right direction. And she kept turning sideways, rolling sideways like a dog, with her hands and legs up in the air like a dead bug, at the kind of a yoga dead bug position. And me and MTV just busted up laughing. We couldn't help ourselves because it was just hilarious. But you're not supposed to talk. So me and her laughing in the middle of that was hard because they tried so hard. And while the girl was trying to make the roll, you're like watching it intently, like turning your head as she's turning, trying to go, "You can do it," and then she rolled sideways, and we got reprimanded for that badly. We got yelled at, "Let's see you do better." We had to get in the ring and try to roll. I mean, and it was easy for her. Her and I were little wiry little girls, so we just, but then we never opened our mouths, because we knew we'd get yelled at. It was not like the show where everybody's like, "What are you going to do?" "I don't know. Let's try this." It wasn't for us anyway. For season 3 and 4, we were boot camp big time. It was like, do it or, do it or not do it. I watched a girl break a collarbone, and I watched another one break an arm, another one blow her knee out. That was just learning how to be a little girl. And of course, if you got hurt, you were gone. It's like, no fond farewell, you're just gone. Because you couldn't, because it was a TV show, even if they wanted to keep them, they couldn't heal before the show was done taping, They had X amount of time. They were going to tape these 2 shows with X amount of hours within, 1 hour per show times, 52 episodes. Excuse me, by the time they got healed, the show would have been done anyway, unless they did of season 5, whoever was injured was out the door.
Were you surprised it came to an end after season 4?
Yes, because there was always this kind of like they're gonna start. It's gonna start back up again. Everybody thought that they were gonna do it again, and to start the whole thing back up again, but they never did. They never got there, and it was sucky, but it was almost like a dangling thing that never finished. We did the pay-per-view. I mean, I ran off and did LPWA, and then I started wrestling out of Japan. A lot of people have no idea what that's like. That's like an honor to be, asked to go wrestle out of Japan, and you're wrestling against the best of the best. And then all of a sudden, the pay-per-view came along, and the girls had been out of the ring for 3 years, and we were never fully trained in Glow anyway. We were entertainers who knew a lot about wrestling. We weren't pro wrestlers, but I went off and became a pro wrestler, and I've got all the dings and the bullshit, jobber type matches to prove it from LPWA, because they were supposed to train me the rest of the way, and they didn't. I got trained after I'd started wrestling for them. through Susan Sexton. Well, completed my training anyway. So we go back for this pay-per-view, and this pay-per-view was supposed to kick off the new show, you know,
Mm-hmm.
to redo it again. But I don't know, it was all behind the scenes, you know, over who owns the rights to Glow. That stopped them from going ahead with a 5th season. But I was going to be, because the pay-per-view, I don't know if you even saw it, I actually turned bad. They were bad for the pay-per-view that were available to work or capable of working, but since I never stopped wrestling and I took it those steps further to become an actual pro wrestler, I ended up being turned bad. I became Lightning, the party animal, who was corrupted by Hollywood. That was so much fun. I was like chomping at the bit because I was so well trained at this point. The Glow stuff was nothing. The wrestling in the ring was totally over padded, the ropes and the, you know, after wrestling in a hard as rock Japan ring, that was like, you know, bouncing on a bed, you know. The Glow ropes were really low and they were double padded, and the ring floor had extra padding on it. It was really like, actually I hated the floor at that point because I was so used to a nice pristine padded floor that's flat and not, because the ring floor Glow is almost lumpy compared to a pro floor. And the pro floor to me felt like butter, you know, just hitting it just felt good, you know. I got so used to that, and that was cush compared to the Japanese floors were horrible. They were plank. It wasn't plywood, it was planks on it. Have you talked to anybody who's been out of Japan?
Mm-hmm. Scott Norton.
Yeah, he must have told you how rough those rings are.
He's a monster. Nice guy, though.
Yeah, yeah. So I thought, oh, we're gonna start this thing up, and I get to be a bad guy. Yes, you know, I was all ready to be Lightning, the party animal, you know, and then it never happened, you know. And there was like a little inklings of maybe something happening, and then they were even talking at one point. They were going to put the shows out, and they were going to use me and some of the other Glow girls to recut the footage and just, you know, have dialogue to go along and insert the footage and cut it into 30-minute episodes, but that never happened. It's kind of sad, you know.
Mm-hmm. Now,
in the meantime, I'm off. I don't care. I'm wrestling all over the world. I'm doing stunt work. I'm working on a live circus bareback act, and I'm you know, vaulting on horses, standing on horses, jumping fire on horseback. I was doing all of that in the meantime, and starting my stunt career.
How did you get started in stunt work?
Well, I just kept crossing paths with stunt people, and they kept just telling me I was a great size to double kids, and that I'd be perfect. So I started trying to, you know, investigate how to be a stunt person, because back then it was really closed off. There wasn't stunt schools like they have stunt schools everywhere. It was basically an apprenticeship. Somebody saw you and thought, this girl's got heart. They called it heart, like they do in Japan. They've got heart. In other words, you'll do the job. You're aggressive. You're not going to shy away from something. And if you don't think you can do something, you'll outright say it. You're not going to like say, I can do that, and then get, you know, a broken leg out of it or whatever. And they would take you, like my first high fall, I was brought to Stuntman's backyard by the coordinator who needed my size, you know, to do this. And we went up, you know, and just kept doing it until they were happy I was safe. Because I had like a 40-foot high fall to do into a really low profile bag, which is unusual. And I had to hold a crucifix position, which is not easy to do. Because mostly when you do a high fall, you're flailing for, you know, like I'm falling. This I had to just hold still and dead drop, which is really hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it was back in that day. Basically, somebody takes you under the wing. They introduce you to other stunt coordinators, and you're training. You're always training. Now I'm learning high falls. Now I'm learning fire. Now I'm learning cars. Now I'm learning, you know, this type of fighting besides just wrestling. You know, and then there's some stuff that's just crash and burn, but it's just one step at a time. I call it a crash and burn. I'm doing a stair fall. I never practiced a stair fall, but with all my tumbling in wrestling and stuff, it's just basically tumbling down a hill, only with sharp edges. You know, you gotta, but you don't, you know, you just go for it. There's certain things you just go for, and you know you're going to come out of it with bruises and stuff. Like big moves in the ring, you know that it's a ball buster, but you're doing that move, it's in that match. So all your training, the horses, everything I was doing, it all accumulates to where you know, next thing you know, you've just been at it for you're you're stunt person. You do the jobs, they call you for them, and anyway, that's how I got into it, just by running into stunt people. I actually got Taft Hartley on a show doing a stunt, which was a fight scene. I was a perfect match, a perfect double for the girl. Olive skin, brown hair, light eyes, 5 foot, 95 pounds. It was like a dead ringer match, and they needed somebody with fighting skills. There's another dead ringer match right there.
What was it like doing Devil's Rejects, the Rob Zombie film?
Oh, the characters, the people on there, they were really nice. You know, Kane Hodder was the stunt coordinator on that.
Great guy.
Yes. Have you interviewed Kane?
Oh, yes. He was my Friday the 13th interview.
Yes. I was just fire safety on it, but that put me in a fire suit holding a car extinguisher, and we were in a room where it was an old wooden building, like from head to toe, and they were lighting the interior on fire, and it was the type of wood that had been around for a long time, so the place could easily just have gone up into a, you know, That's why I think there were 4 of us with fire extinguishers, maybe 5 of us in the room outside the scene, and the actors were literally tied to a chair. And there were some people's jobs to just go straight to the actors and untie their butts from the chair to run for it. And we were there to keep the fire off of the actors, and then they had some of the crew were there to try to keep the building from going up. But it was safe. We did it. It was it turned out just fine. But the place could have gone up like in seconds, you know, because that's how the whole thing was head to toe old wood. Mm-hmm. And it was at a ranch. Actually, it burned down in the recent California fires from about 2 years ago. The whole place burned down. The whole. It's also where they were shooting Fear Factor gags and stuff. I think it was Fear Factor.
Okay.
And what was the show where everybody's running and across big giant balls? And,
Wipeout.
Yeah, Wipeout. It was the home of Wipeout, too. A lot of Westerns filmed there. I've worked there a few times.
You know, I saw one of your earlier credits was Demolition University with Corey Haim.
Oh, yeah.
What was, I've heard nothing but good things about him. Unfortunately, he passed away. Do you have any memories of working with him?
Just he was, I didn't know, God, how to explain this. I don't know about his over partying or anything like that. At the time, he was just seemed professional and nice. We weren't hanging out because he was, I was stunts over here and they were over there. But when I worked with him, for the stunt scene, because he punches me, and then I do basically a clothesline, onto, a cement floor. So it was a pretty rough hit, and my wrestling came in real handy there because they couldn't believe how high up in the air I got and coming down onto that floor, and I had to do it several times. I was so used to at this point the Japanese ring floors. I'm like, no problem. I mean, after a while it would get to you, but I think I did like 4 takes of that, and I was fine. Just felt like I've been wrestling hard. You feel it in your traps and your neck and stuff. But he was just nice and did a job, smiled at me, shook my hand, had that cocky smile he had. He was super cute,
Oh, yeah, everybody just speaks the world.
Cutie pie.
You did, you also got to be in Wonderland. You did the utility stunt work on that?
Oh, yeah. Wonderland was about the murders on Wonderland Street, tied into the porn guy.
John Holmes.
Yes.
How terrifying is it that Val Kilmer, who's a dead ringer for Jim Morrison, was a dead ringer for John Holmes in that film? It's frightening.
Yeah. Yes. Well, what I did was I was a TA. I trained Dylan McDermott. He couldn't ride a motorcycle. They used my Harley and I taught him how to ride. And he didn't know how to ride. And I was there to double the girl on the back of the bike in one scene. He, I guess, had ridden mopeds before that, and they brought him in, and he was supposed to ride a 57 Panhead, and they couldn't find a 57 Panhead, which is like a kickstart, old school, big bike. And my husband had a 58 Panhead, and they spotted it. He was a mechanic for Harley Davidson, and they spotted it in the parking lot. And he had it rigged. It looked like it was a 58. It looked like a bobber, 50 style bobber, chopper, a special construction bike. Mm-hmm. And they wanted that bike. So we brought the bike down. John wanted me to help deal with it. So because I work as a stunt woman in the movie industry, so I went down there with him when we brought the bike down to be looked at. And Dylan McDermott was like looking at this bike, and it's a kickstart. So John, my husband, kicks the bike over like 7-8 kicks to get it going because it's an older bike, Mm-hmm. But this bike is like it's got an open primary on it. It's got backward shifting. I mean, it's been made a certain way, the way he liked it. And I don't know if everybody understands what an open primary is, so I'm going to explain it. Basically, the motorcycle has a casing, a case over the belt that, pull the belt in the motor, the engine. But open primary is no case on the one side, so the belt is, 4 inches wide, maybe wide. I don't know the actual measurements on it, but it's, running the bike, and it's right there next to your peg and your shifter. So we're standing there. John gets the bike rolling, and I'm standing there with Dylan, next to Dylan. A super tall, super cute guy. Really nice. He bends down to me. He's all so, what happens if I touch that? The belt. I go, don't do it. Then he comes and stands back tall again. He's standing there watching again. And then he leans down to me again and he's like, no, but, what will happen if I touch it? I go, it'll hurt. It'll hurt bad.
Nope.
And then a few seconds goes by again, and he bends down and he says to me, no, but then what do I do? And I looked at him and I said, don't ever, ever, for 1 second, forget it's there. You know? And then he gets on the bike and stalls it, because he's never ridden a big bike. He's never ridden anything past a moped, I guess. So John kicks it over again, like it takes forever, you know, and it's raining, but the bike's acting bad because it's raining out. We're standing out in the rain doing this. And they're like freaking out and they're huddling, talking to the stunt coordinator, which I know is a friend of mine. And I said, well, look, how about this? I go, why don't I bring my motorcycle over? It's a smaller bike. It's got a push button start. They're like, no, but we can't have that. And I go, well, no, let's teach him how to ride and then put him on the big bike. So I bring my bike over and he falls in love with my bike. And they ended up redressing my bike to look like John did. He because he's a mechanic. He just pulled everything off of his bike and slapped it on my bike. And they ended up using my bike in the movie, and I was there for multiple days, and I went over to Dylan's house, which is really weird because Dylan was living on Rockingham. You understand that connection?
Yes. It's almost creepy.
It was creepy. Anyway.
What's this? You know, you've got a movie listed called The Killers Club with you, and I see Hollywood's in it, B. Brian Blair, Jamie Darko.
That's a movie that it's a low budget. Basically, this guy pieced this movie together. He wrote it himself. He's been doing all the stunts and stuff. I did just a cameo. I'm not sure I think Jamie did a cameo. He's got all kinds of people doing cameos in this movie.
Tons of wrestlers in it.
What's it? Yeah, but I haven't seen it. I just know I did a thing where I'm just talking with somebody for a minute. And it wasn't because he was picking up people when they came into town, and I was in New Jersey for a convention with Hollywood and April Hahn, Royal Hawaiian. Mm-hmm. One of the other girls that were in the pilot, by the way. She was in the pilot and the first season until she got injured. Royal Hawaiian, when I first saw the show, I thought she was like this powerful, strong wrestler. I loved the way she moved in the ring. Before I knew anything about wrestling, you know, and I was watching Glow Girls that were already in the ring. I just found it fascinating, the ones that were doing the big moves, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I happened to notice that. It sounds pretty interesting, but yeah, it doesn't look like it's been released.
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun, campy, one of those movies that are, you know, that catch you on the back end of funny. The way like Sharknado was like this.
Sharknadoes.
It's so stupid. It's funny, you know.
Now, for all your fans from Glow and that watch you in stunts and all, are you online where they can follow you?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I'm not the best at it, but I do post when I can. I've been doing skating videos and talking about fitness over this whole COVID thing. up until 3 weeks ago, of course. I got to take a break right now while I'm healing my body up. Somebody thought it'd be fun to hit me with their car while I was on my roller skates.
Yeah, that's never fun.
I can't get into that right now either because it's all litigation crap,
Oh,
you know.
yes.
But it was really weird. I was Facebook living when it happened, but I don't have that film up. I had to pull it so nobody. Yeah. And I try to, if I'm doing anything, I try to put it up there. I just feel weird when, I'm not going to bake a cookie and say, look, here's a cookie I baked,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm brushing my teeth this morning. I don't like doing any of that stuff. I really like to, if I'm on a set, take some photos and post them, or a quick little video, I'm walking through the set, assuming I can do it, because some sets are locked down and they don't allow any of that. And of course, I haven't been working for the last few weeks on anything because I'm healing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I just ran off and I've lost my. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Cheryl Lightning Russa on Facebook, and on the other two, I think it's at Glow Lightning.
Do you have a website?
Yes. They're in the middle of being rebuilt because I moved them and had to rebuild them, and I've got a store that's going to go up. And lightning1.com and littlebrat.com. So, and I've got a stunt one, and the other two are incomplete. I'm so sorry. I apologize for what you're going to find right now, but it will get redone.
No, I'm currently in the process of designing a third site, so I know what it's like. It takes time.
Oh, you're doing it yourself, right?
Oh, yeah.
See, that's the hard part. I had a designer at one point, but it gets expensive. It really does.
If you can do it yourself, that's the best way to do it. They make it simple enough for anybody to do nowadays.
So what I did was I put up what I could, and now I'm going to get a designer to help me just polish it up. And then I've got to learn more. You think I would know more by this point, but trying to learn at home online by yourself is really hard to do. Without, like, what's that?
I have an artist that I pay to do all my artwork, and everything else I take care of on my own because I can't draw.
A lot of people don't know that about me. I'm an artist. I can draw.
Yeah, I found a guy that does T-shirts for wrestlers, so I pay him. He's designed artwork for all my sites, so does a good job.
See, and not a lot of people will pay for art design. It's like they just...
People want it for free, but that's not right.
Yeah. I decided to do my own stuff. The other thing is when you're an artist, somebody will say something simple like, I want a skull. So they give you no other idea. So you draw a skull, and they're like, no, not like that. And then it's like what you see in your head or they see in their head is not what you see, the artist sees in their head. Mm-hmm. So the best way to deal with that is literally clip art a bunch, shoot it over to your artist. Clip art a bunch of stuff that is the look or that you're thinking so that they can understand, or you just let them have at it and go with their style, which is the best way. You get the best work out of an artist with their style.
Yep, I like my guy's style. I can envision what I want and probably diagram it with the stick figure, but when I tell him, I've always been pleased with every result. They all look good, and if I can't think anything, I say, I'll leave it up to you. Just you tell me what works and you draw it, and we'll go with that, and then that's worked for me too. Then
you love his style, and they will do the best work for you. But as an artist, I've been asked to do, like, that's another thing. It's like, I don't know what I guess your friend probably knows what to charge. If you ask somebody to redo something, this took me, 2 weeks to figure out what I'm going to do and a couple of days to draw this. And now you want me to redo the whole thing all over again,
I think my guy
Okay.
he'll give you 3 different proofs, and then after that, then you got to start paying more.
Yeah, see, that's fair. That's actually more than fair. I
I've
would
never had
say
to get more than the first proof, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I would say one redo,
Yeah.
and then there's the whole graphic or computer art design side of it too.
Mm-hmm.
I've had some people draw me as Lightning, and they send me stuff, and I think it's really cool. As far as drawing myself, I can do it, but I'm jaded, so it's hard for me to draw me. I have the negative version of myself in my head, which most women do, which is so sad.
Well, I think I've seen your current pictures. I think you look fantastic. And I
Thank you.
want to thank you so much for joining us here today. I really do appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to talk with us.
Well, thank you for questions that aren't like regular questions.
Well, you're welcome. Oh, I guess real quick, I didn't ask you this. Let me close with this. What do you think of what did you think of it got canceled, of the Netflix Glow show?
Well, the first 4 episodes were horrible. They were just really, I know they were trying to establish stuff, but it was like pulling teeth to watch the first 4 episodes because I had to get past those episodes because everybody kept asking me about the show. It wasn't true to us, but I really liked the show a lot. Like I said, I got past the first 4 episodes, and I really loved watching that 80s throwback thing and their interpretation of that. And I know you were around in the 80s, correct?
Oh yeah.
So,
I would have been a little bit older. I'd have had more fun.
Yeah, there you go. But you had fun for your era. So did all of us. But I mean, I could say that about the 70s. It's like I was a kid. But yeah, I liked the show. I really did. And I say to anybody who is starting to watch it, just if you have a hard time watching it, just grit the teeth, watch get past those first 4, don't jump past them. You got to see what's going on.
Yes.
Watch those first 4 episodes, and I think you'll really like the show. As a Glow Girl, an OG Glow Girl, of course, I'm jaded, and for me to like the show, it is a good show. How about you?
Oh, I
Did
loved
you like it?
I loved it. And for me, it was kind of fun because we're watching it, and I'm watching it with my wife, and it's like, okay, she's Colonel Ninochka. Okay, there's Americana. Okay, there, you're watching the storylines acted out. So it brought back a lot of good memories for me.
I know some of the girls are saying like, oh, that's me, or that's so and so, or that's a version of these 3 comboed or whatever. I didn't see Lightning except at the beginning. The one girl who plays Ninochka,
Mm-hmm.
her self before she becomes Ninochka, like the anxiety of like, I'm going to get kicked off of the show. I don't have a character, and that was totally Lightning right there. I know it was on accident, but she was Lightning until she became Colonel Ninochka. At least she was me, not Lightning, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
That stress monster-y thing about, doing this show.
Well, yeah, it's a great show. It's sad it got canceled. Another victim of COVID. Hopefully they do a movie, but
you never know. You never know. I mean, that's what I would do if I was them, the producers. I would do a 2-hour, finish it, tie the loose ends up. You never know if Netflix may bring it back, but it has to be done before the dust settles, kind of a thing.
yeah, interest after a while.
I have my fingers crossed about 2021. I've got hopes that the world will open back up again. I personally think people hiding in dungeons over what's going on is like trying to hide from the flu. You can't I mean, you can only be so safe. There's no way a flu germ is going to not get through a little mask that we're wearing. But, but you know, like when flu season came on, I wasn't like Monk, you know, the TV series Monk.
Yeah.
But I was always paranoid about stuff like that. I don't like it when people get into my space. I love the 6 feet distance thing, and I was always using my sleeves to open doors and stuff during flu season.
Me too.
Yeah, so that's the way I've been playing it, you know, and I actually think it's funny when people are driving alone in their own car with a mask on, and I'm thinking, well, I mean, they're either paranoid or it's such a headache pulling this mask up and down. They're just leaving it up.
I've done it a few times. It's just the habit of leaving it on.
They're just going, fuck it. I've done it. I've gotten into my car. Yeah. And then the other thought is that maybe they're like, they want to hide their face, you know. Maybe they didn't put their makeup on today. They're like, I'm just going to wear my mask.
Yeah, if I don't color my beard, I pull it up higher. You know, it works for me.
Yep, or they're gangbangers and they want to just say, now I get to wear a hoodie and a mask. Right. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
So many people walking into banks with masks and hoods on and stuff. It's like what they're so worried about now, you know. It's like, I wonder how many people are plotting to rob banks with their little masks in their hood. It's like, can you believe this? How insane is what's going on right now? In your lifetime, can you believe that this is like crazy stuff going on?
Yeah, no, I don't even like to think about it, to be honest with you. It's so insane.
Yeah. I get upset when people think because of the way I feel or whatever, they think that I don't believe that there's a virus. I just believe that it's like trying to hide from an invisible flu. You know, you can only be so safe, and beyond that, we need to come out of our caves and go back to work.
Yes, we do. Once again, I want to thank you so much. I hope you can come back on again one day. Maybe they'll make that Glow movie and we can talk about it.
That would be awesome, or maybe something else will happen crazy, and thank you for having me.
Thank you for your time, ladies and gentlemen. You have been listening to the Chronicles of Hollywood History. Thank you from Gomez Richmond Productions.